Welcome back in, everyone, to 504 and More Sports. I am proud today to introduce a big guest to the show. A fourth round selection turned into a Super Bowl champion, a two-time Pro Bowl selection in 2011 and 2012. Calling into the show today, New Orleans Saints legend Jermon Bushrod. Jermon, thanks for joining us today. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I appreciate you guys having me on the podcast. I'm looking forward to it.
I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down and talk with us for a little bit. I've been a big fan my entire life. I've been a season ticket holder in the past whenever the Saints were on their Super Bowl run. And I go back to the days whenever I was young watching you. I was in the building for the NFC Championship when Garrett
Nice.
Hartley sunk it and sent us to Miami to take us to our first Super Bowl. And we're going to go ahead and talk about the Super Bowl run later on in the interview. But before we go ahead and do that, I just want to switch gears real quick and talk to you about a player's perspective on the currently proposed collective bargaining agreement between the NFLPA and the owners of the NFL, with a bunch of factors I'll lay out for you real quick. The new proposed CBA agreement, it's highlighted by a couple main points, including the regular season being expanded to 17 games. And as a result, the players will receive 48% of the revenue, and it will eventually climb to 48.5%. Paired with the projected revenue growth, it could net the players anywhere within $5 billion in total. The new deal also includes an extended playoff of 14 teams, with only the top seed in each conference receiving a first round bye. So if this were to take place this past season, that would have meant the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Rams would have been the seventh seed making the playoffs. In addition to the regular season matchup for every team, with no extra bye included with this increased schedule, this also limits the number of international games played. It also reduces the number of training camp practices. It increases the players on the roster from 53 to 55, and 48 players are able to dress for games rather than the current 46. It also increases rookie salaries by 100,000 in 2020, and additionally, owners are going to be a little bit less on edge with the league's penalties on marijuana and off-field discipline, because it will be in the hands of a neutral arbitrator rather than Commissioner Roger Goodell, who currently oversees that. Some of the NFL players, they've expressed their dislikes for the new CBA agreement. J.J. Watt was seen on Twitter tweeting hard no on the proposed CBA, and Russell Wilson chimed in stating, the NBA and MLB are doing it right. Players come first. All NFL players deserve the same. We should not rush the next 10 years for today's satisfaction. I vote no. It's hard to see what the players are trying to get out of this. At the same time, they want their money, they want to earn their bag. So, what do you believe as an ex-player is resulting in the disapproval from the stars around the league, such as JJ, such as Russell Wilson, with so many different benefits that it may look like from the outside looking in that there's nothing wrong with this agreement?
Well, going back at it, we have to, I haven't broke it down as much as I probably should, being that I am away from the game right now. But I know there's going to be a lot of people affected. And for those who come after, my time, I want to make sure that these guys are good to go when it comes to setting up, their long-term life. And if, I didn't hear you say anything about lifetime health coverage for these guys, because we put our mind, body, and our souls
Oh yeah, for sure.
into this, and it's definitely and it's definitely at risk. So the fact that I didn't hear none of that in there, that's the kind of things that players want. If you're going to add another game, when you're dealing with these owners, you're going to understand that this is a business at the end of the day. So once all these figures are mapped out and they can show us, where the funds will increase, our guys going to get paid more for playing an extra game. And yeah, you're right. You're going to take the roster from 53 to 55, but to me, we got to start dressing 53 guys, instead of 46, because it's tough on the players who are out there over the course of the whole season. I'm interested to see how it plays out in the near future, because if the players aren't happy, then then what really do you have? And if we're going to really talk about player safety, then Thursday night games is something that needs to be done away with.
Adding on top of that, what do you think the NFL owners want to gain out of this new collective bargaining agreement? Whether that be a bigger share of the revenue, leverage over on players. What do you think from a player's perspective? Because looking from the outside in, it doesn't seem like there's too many things wrong with this that players should be just so disgruntled about. So, what do you think is the big factor that is causing so much issue?
I mean, if there's no health insurance in there, I mean, it's obviously it's money, it's business.
Yes.
At the end of the day, they're trying to save as much as they can, and at the end of the day, the players are trying to get as much as we can. We're trying to make sure that we are protecting ourselves and our family because it can mess up your quality of life depending on how long you play, and depending on what position you play. So it all has to do with the funds spread over a long-term deal.
The next question would be like going back to your childhood. Who was your favorite team growing up, and who did you dream of playing for?
NFL wise,
NFL wise.
my team that I followed was the Redskins because I'm from Virginia.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you, I'll keep it 100. Like, I didn't have NFL aspirations when I was younger. I didn't play football until I was 12. I wasn't very good until I was like, I mean, I won't even say very good. I wasn't good until I was, a junior, midway through my junior year, going into my senior year. So, maybe that's why I didn't get the exposure that most guys would have wanted coming out of high school, but I was totally content going to Towson. And when I went to Towson, it wasn't like I had NFL aspirations from there either as well, because I didn't see myself as an NFL caliber player. But, it was one conversation that really kind of just changed my mindset to show me that this NFL journey is an opportunity that is in front of me. And, it's really about what I want to do with it. And, we turned it into an NFL career and a very fortunate and blessed situation I've been able to be in.
Jermon, the Saints, they were lucky to have you as a key contributor in their first Super Bowl run when it came to Super Bowl 44 against the Indianapolis Colts, the first Super Bowl appearance in franchise history. I wanted to get a player's perspective on the entirety of the Super Bowl week, coming from your preparation mentally, physically, the practices, everything leading up to the big game on Sunday.
The biggest thing that stood out to me really, man, was the fact that, as a professional and you look at how big this game is, it is you have to really be in tune with yourself and understanding, like, I can't make this game bigger than what it really is. Even though from the outside looking in, it's the last football game of the season. It's the game everybody wants to be at. But your preparation just has to kick into another gear. When you are during the regular season, your preparation has to be at a high level. But once you go to the playoffs, your preparation and just everything that you do, your focus has to be heightened. It has to be, because it's one and done. If you lose, you go home. If you win, you keep going. And it's the same thing with the Super Bowl, man. It's the game is bigger on the outside, but the inside it's 100-yard field and it's 53 yards across. So don't make it bigger than what it really is, even though from the outside looking in, it's a really big deal, man. It's a really big deal to be there. It was a really awesome deal that I even got the chance to play in one, let alone win one. So it was, you're talking about a great experience for myself, my family, and my friends. That was really what it was about, just making sure that, they come and enjoy seeing me play, when in 10 years past or 10 years before Super Bowl 44 and every year afterwards, they've had Super Bowl parties. My family's held Super Bowl parties at my house. And this time, they were with us in Miami partying after we won that thing.
So would you say that that focused vibe was all throughout the locker room? Everybody kind of had a different vibe going into it, and it was a bigger deal for them as well? Or was it usually just treated like a regular week, like you said?
I mean, it's treated like another week, but we understand what comes if we win this game. We're world champions, and our goals and our aspirations and everything we set out for were right there in front of us. So, we all went to Miami. We all enjoyed ourselves for, the Monday and Tuesday. But once Wednesday hit, it was game time. Our focus was on a whole different level. And just what an experience it was. And plus, the city needed it. The city needed that W.
Definitely.
The city needed, that Super Bowl win. They needed a pick me up. Just because everything that Louisiana, New Orleans, and the surrounding parishes had went through with Katrina. It was really honestly no stopping us, no denying us of that Super Bowl.
Jermon, every great offensive lineman in the NFL dreams of being inserted into the perfect situation where you not only have a great play caller on the sideline, but you also have a great mind under center. And you had the best of both worlds where you had Drew Brees under center and Sean Payton on the sidelines, arguably one of the greatest quarterback and coaching tandems in NFL history. So I want to know what it was like to not only play under Coach Sean Payton, but be able to protect one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever live in Drew Brees.
I enjoy playing with Sean, man, because Sean is a coach that's he's not going to put you in a place so you don't succeed. He's going to give you all the tools and make sure that he has a great game plan for the guys up front, for his quarterback, for everybody. He has everybody playing together. He has a plan just for the game. He's an extremely smart player. An extremely smart head coach. He comes from the Bill Parcells tree, so he has a no nonsense type of mindset when it comes to his coaching ability and the things that he wants to get accomplished. He's going to get done because that's just that's the type of ship that he runs. And playing for Drew, I got spoiled early on in my career because he is such a cerebral and cerebral, smart quarterback, very attention detailed. He expects a lot out of the guys. And, when you see the preparation that he puts in and the focus that he puts into winning a game, you kind of just feed off of that. You feed off of that, and it's infectious. Whenever he does decide to hang it up, it's going to be not just a big loss to the Saints and to the city of New Orleans, but a big loss to the league.
This is a question I've always had because I was always an offensive lineman, and I always saw on ESPN and everything that every time a running back rushed for over 1,000 and a quarterback or a quarterback had a great season, they got the whole offensive line a gift. Did that ever happen, and is that true?
Of course. I mean, a couple of my nice watches and probably about 3 or 4 of my nice first vacations in the league came from Drew.
Wow.
He's always looked out. He's looked out for us. He's put in so much, but we've put in a lot of work as well, and he looked out for us for sure. He's definitely gifted us trips to Bahamas and to Mexico and things like that, Vegas.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
he's looked out. He's looked out for us big time, and that right there is just not that we need any other motivation to go out here and play hard and do our jobs, but when you have a guy that looks out for you like that, respects what you do on the field, and he can come out of his pocket. He doesn't have to. Most guys, if you're playing long enough in this league, you've acquired some funds. Hopefully you've saved them. But you can, take care of all your extracurricular, either activities or some of your expensive hobbies, watch collecting and things like that. You can do that yourself, but he takes money out of his pocket. He don't have to do that, and he takes care of us, and it's always pretty cool.
You retired after 2018, and I just want to know what it's like now, post career, enjoying retirement with your family and being able to see this new, fresh New Orleans Saints squad make positive strides in the right direction towards another Super Bowl.
I'm enjoying my time being a family man. I really am. It's been fun for me. I played 12 years in this league. I mean, if you would have asked me, I got drafted in 07. If you would have asked me in 04 that I would have a 12-year career and go on to play in a couple Pro Bowls, win a Super Bowl, and do some of the things that we did, I would have never. I probably would have said you're lying and you had no clue what you're talking about. But God works in mysterious ways, and He gave me this opportunity. So hopefully, I can inspire somebody else to go live out their dream, not necessarily to go be a professional athlete, because that's not always in the books for every single person out there. But it was such a fun ride. It was such a fun ride, and I'm honestly I'm in a place where I can watch football and I can be happy. You know, I went to a couple games this past year, and unfortunately, I went to the last game the Saints had and versus the Vikings. They lost, but I could sit in the stands and I could watch the game without being, feeling like I was missing out. And I enjoyed. I do miss winning, and I do miss being around the guys, but football has done me good.
All right, Jermon, we're going to wrap this up real quick. But before you go, I just need a quick prediction for the Saints going into this 2020 season following a rough ending at the hands of the Minnesota Vikings in the divisional round.
Let's see. Man, look, every year I'm going to have them taking it. As long as you got 9 back there leading the charge. I love the offensive line, man. They played their asses off this past year. The defense has been great as well, led by Cam up front. And, these guys we have on the back end, as long as you have Sean, and as long as you have Drew Brees, and as long as you have that leadership on the other side of the ball on defense, and Rizzo, their special teams coordinator.
I'm glad to see the high expectations for the New Orleans Saints this upcoming year. Jermon, thank you again for joining the show. Any last things before we go ahead and sign off?
Man, continue to support these guys, man.
Unfortunately, as we were recording the outro for the interview, Jermon's audio had cut out. But either way, we had a great time talking with him. It was awesome to hear about the Super Bowl run and what he thinks about the New Orleans Saints going forward. I really hope to get Jermon back on the show again soon, but I really want to thank him on behalf of me and Alec for coming on and answering all of our questions. It was an amazing time getting to talk to him. It's been a great Mardi Gras weekend, so we're going to go ahead going forward. I really hope to get Jermon back on the show again soon, but I really want to thank him on behalf of me and Alec for coming on and answering all of our questions. It was an amazing time getting to talk to him. It's been a great Mardi Gras weekend, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up the right way. So on behalf of 504 and More Productions, I am John, signing out.